Your student has worked so hard on their college applications. And over the last 4 years, they've spent so much time and effort between coursework, extracurricular activities, being able to enjoy and have a healthy balance of things in their life. And then you go to completing college applications, spending hours to make sure that your college essay is just right and that it has the right college name on it. And then you have to wait and wait and wait. Have you ever heard of that saying, hurry up and wait? That is something that it ends up at this time of year that so many people are feeling. And it's not easy, but today I really want to talk about some steps that you can take and that your student can take and how to survive that waiting game with your admissions decision. I want to share a couple of quotes with you. So the first one is Joyce Meyer, and she said, "Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting." And Edward George Bulwer Lytton said, "Patience is not passive. On the contrary, it is active. It is concentrated strength." And I think that both of those quotes speak so clearly to the waiting that we are doing as parents and as students and as a mom and a dad. When you watch your student waiting and you see the stress that they've gone through, it's hard to see that. It also is something where every step that you all take in this decision-making process is absolutely going to be worth it. And you are definitely learning a lot about how to be patient.
Hey there, I'm Courtney, and I'm the founder of Confused to College Ready. With over 15 years experience as a mental health therapist turned school counselor, I am bringing my experience and expertise to help you navigate the college search experience. My goal is to serve students and their families and unlock the secrets to college searching. Stay tuned.
Hey there, I'm Courtney. I am the founder of Confused to College Ready, and I so appreciate you joining me today. I hope that these things that we talk through as far as the waiting game with college admissions and steps that you can take to be able to deal with it, I really hope that this is helpful for you. So before we get started, I really want to acknowledge the fact that this waiting is hard. As we are getting closer to the holidays, this is coming out in December, the middle of December. And I don't know if you remember what it was like the night before Christmas, and you are laying in bed and you know that tomorrow is going to be such a fun morning and you can't wait to see what those presents are under the tree. You've been eyeing some of them with the pretty wrapping paper and the beautiful packages, or maybe you got a gift for someone else that you just can't wait to see their reaction. And it's hard. The thing is, this is very similar, that some of these decisions that we are waiting to hear about can end up having a big impact on your student and what they're doing. And it's tough. It feels like all you talk about is just the college search and where did we apply? And did I apply to the right schools? And should I apply to more? And we look at waiting on what that final decision is going to be. So today, I want to acknowledge that waiting is hard, but I really want to talk to you all about 5 different things that you can do and concentrate on right now as you are waiting for those decisions. So the first thing that I really want to encourage you to do, and hopefully you have already, but if you haven't, I want you to celebrate. Celebrate with your student and look at how much you have done and accomplished and how much they have done and accomplished in the last 4 years. High school's not easy. There have been probably a lot of nights where you've been staying up late and trying to get work done and so many different things, but celebrate that time. You students have worked on their coursework. They've gotten the grades that they've gotten. They're on the path to find out their next steps, and they finish those applications. So be proud of that hard work that your students have put into the last 4 years and celebrate what you've done. It's important for us. Our brains need us to acknowledge what we have done and how much effort we've put in. And like I said, acknowledging that hard work. So the first thing I want you to do is really celebrate. If you're having a hard time thinking about how you can celebrate, it doesn't have to be something that's huge or expensive or anything else, but it is something where even if you just spend some time together, but think of some ways that you enjoy celebrating. I would absolutely love if you leave some comments about how you celebrate and some other things that you enjoy doing. The second thing that I want you to do is acknowledge how you're feeling. Now, we have times where we are stressed out and we are trying to figure out how do we handle this, and how you feel is okay. We tell our children that it's okay to feel how we feel. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel mad. It's okay to feel scared or excited or happy. A lot of it is how we handle those feelings that can make the biggest difference. And so how you are feeling is okay with this process, and how your teenager is feeling is okay in this process. But you don't want to dwell on those feelings. So uncertainty about what might happen, feeling anxious about when am I going to hear something, and you end up that you go in and you are just constantly hitting the refresh button on the portal to be able to find out, have they given us the information yet? And my friend said that they heard and I didn't. And so what does that mean? And does that mean that my child's not going to be accepted? Does it mean that they are going to be accepted? Don't read into anything. And I know that is easier said than done. I know that it is, but I want you to really just focus on, yep, this is how I feel. And I'm going to make a conscious decision not to dwell on it. These are the things that I have control of. These are the things that I don't. And understanding that and being able to say, you know what? I am going to decide how I'm going to acknowledge it. And then that leads us into point 3, is deciding how to handle those feelings. So number 1 is we're going to celebrate. Number 2 is we are going to acknowledge how we're feeling. Number 3 is that we're going to decide how to handle the feelings, and also take some steps to acknowledge and decide how do we want to handle the situation depending on the different responses or decisions that we get from the college. So what I want you to consider is, how do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend your time focused on that stress and just that's all that you think about and you can't focus on anything else? Or do you want to acknowledge it and figure out ways that you can distract yourself? And so I'm leading in with all of these. You might have seen I'm kind of leading into that next thing, but you're going to make a decision. I would encourage you to acknowledge the feeling and for a set amount of time, and then move on. Set a timer. So decide that I am going to think about how I'm feeling and I'm going to acknowledge it. I am going to feel it for 5 minutes, for 8 minutes. And then I am going to either think about it, talk through it with someone, or I'm just going to, at the end of that timer, then I'm going to move on. So I want you to remind yourself and remind your student that their value and their self-worth is not dependent on the colleges that they get accepted to. This is something that they are so much more. And this kind of is going to go into a little bit of the next point, but I want you to remind your student about where their value is. Now, deciding about that right college and the right fit, whether your student gets an acceptance, a deferral, or the college says, no, I'm sorry, we're not going to accept you at this time, that doesn't define them. So I want you to think about, how are we going to handle that if we get an acceptance? What are we going to say and do if we get the deferral? And then also, what are we going to say and do if we get the no, I'm sorry? All of those things can be exciting to hear. It can be hard to hear, but it's something that's really important that you kind of talk through. What are we going to do and how are we going to handle it? And deciding about, how do I want to handle that stress? What are some of those positive coping strategies? So number 1 is that we really want to celebrate. Number 2 is we want to acknowledge how you are feeling and your student is feeling. Number 3 is we are going to decide how you want to handle those feelings and the decisions that you are going to make from based on what the colleges say. Now, number 4, I want you to think about, after that timer is done, how are you going to distract yourself? So think about, I'm going to set my timer for this amount of time, and then I'm going to move forward. And so what can you do to distract yourself? Do you have favorite pastimes? Does your teenager have favorite things that they enjoy doing? And what's something that you can do as a family to enjoy some time together and think about something else? Maybe it's going to be that you need to spend time with some of your friends, and your teenager needs to spend some time with their friends and enjoying some of those extracurriculars or other activities. And that's okay. Taking some time to acknowledge it, to be together, to talk through it, and then taking some time away from each other can be a good thing. But making sure that your student knows that you are there to support them if there's something that they need. Now, I also will say, think about something new that you can get involved with. Is there something that you have always wanted to do? Or is there something a new book that you want to read, or a new game that you want to play, whether it be with your friends, but choose some things that you can focus on instead. Know that you have a support system. Know that you can go to them and remind your student about their support system, that you are always there, that their friends are there, and then other family. And identify that in some of those ways that you can distract yourself. So the last thing I really want to talk about is some self-care. We have stress as parents, as moms, as dads. We end up having so many things that are overwhelming, and where we have a hard time knowing what to focus on and how to do that when we're in the middle of the situation. So this kind of goes back to the think about it in advance, what you want to do, but how can you take care of yourself? Maybe it is reading a book. Maybe it is listening to music, exercising, going for a walk, that time with family and friends and your support system. Laughing can be such a good way to de-stress. And so I'm not talking about just like a little bit of laughter. I'm talking about some of those big belly laughs. And having something to laugh about. If you are a family that meditation or prayer is important to you, that is also another thing that can help you. So identify your support system. The other thing that I would encourage you to do, and this is something before you get some of those decisions, make a list with your student about their positive qualities. Ask them what they have heard other people say, other compliments that people have paid them, things that you have seen, what they can identify as their positive qualities, and keep that list somewhere that you can see it, that they can see it, so that you know what, if there is a decision that's not the one that we wanted, I want to go back and look at these qualities and know what I can do to support my student. So I know that it's hard, that waiting game, but I really want to encourage you to celebrate the steps that you've taken, acknowledge your feelings and your students' feelings, decide how you want to handle the feelings and the potential decisions you're going to get from the college, find distractions, and then make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So I know that it's tough. This is not an easy time. If you have specific questions or there's anything that you want to talk through, I would absolutely love to hear from you, and even coming up with some of those options specifically for you. So I hope that you all have a fantastic day and a fantastic week. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. If you are an underclassman and you are interested in some additional support and being able to prepare you for the next steps that you're going to be taking, I would love to talk with you. You can set up a time to talk with me. I have free 15-minute sessions where I would absolutely love to hear from you and kind of take a deeper dive into what your needs are with your college search. So if you go to confusedtoready.com/C2CR free coaching, and I would love to just spend some time encouraging you and supporting you. Have a wonderful week. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Confused to Ready, and download our free guide on how to start or expand your college search at confusedtoready.com/how to start.